All great achievement begins the same way, with a dream. But here's a truth many refuse to accept. Dreams alone do not build fortunes, businesses, inventions, or legacies. They are the raw material, yes, but raw material without a blueprint remains useless potential. I have met men who carried magnificent dreams in their hearts for decades, yet died having accomplished nothing of them. Why? Because they never translated those dreams into definite plans backed by action. They lived in a pleasant world of someday where the mind is entertained but the hands are idle. The bridge between dreaming and achieving is planning, specific, organized, time-bound planning. And the stronger that bridge, the greater the weight of your dream it can carry. When Andrew Carnegie first challenged me to study the philosophy of success, I had a dream of producing a work that would serve millions for generations. But that dream meant nothing until I broke it into clear steps, interviewing successful men, extracting their principles, organizing them into a usable form, and publishing the results. Without those steps, the dream would have remained a pleasant thought. Here is the first law in turning a dream into a definite plan. Decide exactly what you want. Do not be vague. If your dream is to build a business, define the kind of business, the market you will serve, the revenue you will aim for, and the time frame in which you will achieve it. If your dream is to improve your health, define the exact outcome you seek and by when. The second law is this: write it down. A dream unwritten is like a cloud. It drifts and changes shape. But once written, it becomes a blueprint you can hold, review, and measure your progress against. The third law: break the goal into actionable steps. If your plan cannot be broken into smaller, measurable tasks, it is not yet a plan. It is still a wish. These steps must be so clear that you could hand them to a stranger and he would know what to do. When you combine a burning desire with a definite written plan, you awaken a force in your mind that refuses to rest until it is fulfilled. The dream begins to demand action. It becomes not just something you hope for, but something you expect. This is the power of having a blueprint. It makes your dream practical, measurable, and, above all, possible. Once you have written your dream and broken it into clear steps, the next challenge is creating the conditions in which that plan can thrive. A blueprint is only as useful as the foundation on which you build it. And the foundation for any great achievement is made up of two things: the environment you choose and the allies you gather. The first factor, environment, is often overlooked. Yet I have seen more dreams die from toxic surroundings than from lack of ability. If you are constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, distract you, or feed your mind with fear, your plan will wither before it has a chance to grow. The mind is like fertile soil. It will grow weeds just as quickly as flowers. Guard what you allow to be planted. This means you must deliberately place yourself in situations, relationships, and even physical spaces that remind you of your goal and encourage you to act on it. If your plan requires long hours of focused work, create a workspace free from unnecessary interruption. If it requires learning new skills, place yourself in schools, workshops, or circles where those skills are valued and practiced. The second factor, alliances, is the principle I have called the mastermind. No man succeeds alone. The greatest fortunes, the greatest inventions, and the greatest movements in history were all built on the combined energy of multiple minds united in harmony for a definite purpose. To turn your dream into a reality, identify the people whose cooperation, advice, and encouragement will accelerate your progress. This might include mentors who have already achieved what you seek, partners who share your vision, and friends who will hold you accountable when enthusiasm fades. When I was developing my philosophy of success, I surrounded myself with men and women who believed in its value. They gave me feedback, opened doors, and kept my own belief strong when progress was slow. Without such alliances, the task might have taken twice as long or not been completed at all. No, let me warn you, not all alliances are equal. Choose people who are committed, not just curious. Choose those whose skills and perspectives complement your own. Choose those who will tell you the truth, not just what is pleasant to hear. With the right environment and the right allies, your plan gains momentum that no single person could generate alone. It stops being a fragile idea and begins to take the form of something inevitable. In the next step of the blueprint, we move from the conditions around you to the discipline within you, for it is discipline that keeps a plan alive through the long seasons between planting and harvest. A plan without discipline is like a ship without a captain. It may float, but it will drift until it runs aground. Discipline is the force that keeps you on course when distractions appear, when the work becomes dull, and when the initial excitement fades. When I speak of discipline, I do not mean a grim, joyless grind. I mean the daily habit of doing what the plan requires, whether you feel like it or not. I have seen men of average intelligence surpass geniuses simply because they acted consistently on a plan while others waited for inspiration. The first step in applying discipline to your blueprint is to set a timetable for each part of the plan. A task without a deadline will always be postponed in favor of something more urgent or more pleasant. When you attach a definite time frame to each step, you create a sense of urgency that forces action. The second step is to measure your progress regularly. What you do not measure, you cannot manage. This means reviewing your plan at set intervals, weekly, monthly, quarterly, to see where you are on track and where adjustments are needed. Small deviations, if ignored, can grow into major detours. Regular reviews allow you to correct them early. The third step is to anticipate obstacles before they appear. Do not wait until you are in trouble to think of solutions. List the challenges that could arise: lack of funds, shortage of time, resistance from others, and prepare strategies in advance. This not only reduces stress when problems occur, but also trains your mind to see them as part of the process, not as signs of failure. I have found that one of the most powerful tools for maintaining discipline is the habit of self-accountability. Each evening, ask yourself, did I take the steps I planned for today? If not, why? What will I do differently tomorrow? By holding yourself accountable daily, you prevent weeks or months of drift from passing unnoticed. Discipline also demands that you protect your time fiercely. You cannot build something great if you allow every interruption, request, or passing whim to pull you away from your work. Learn to say no, not just to others, but to the temptations that would trade long-term success for short-term comfort. This is where many men fail. They have a dream, they even have a plan, but they lack the endurance to keep moving when the reward is still far from sight. They mistake a slow season for a dead end and abandon the plan just before it was ready to bear fruit. Your blueprint will only work if you work it patiently, consistently, and without surrender to discouragement. A blueprint is not a prison, it is a guide. Too many men mistake steadfastness for stubbornness and refuse to change their methods even when those methods are clearly failing. The purpose of a plan is to direct you towards your goal, not to chain you to a single approach. I have always taught that persistence applies to the goal, not to the method. If a bridge is washed out, the traveler does not abandon his journey, he finds another way across. Likewise, when a step in your plan proves unworkable, adapt it without compromising the destination. Adaptability is one of the most valuable qualities in any leader. Markets change, conditions shift, unexpected events arise. Those who cling rigidly to outdated methods are left behind, while those who adapt grow stronger. Thomas Edison understood this better than most. When working to develop the incandescent light bulb, he tested thousands of materials for the filament. Had he insisted that his first choice was the only choice, the invention would have remained a dream. Instead, he adapted repeatedly, each trial bringing him closer to the solution. He was persistent about the goal, producing light through electricity, but flexible about how to get there. In your own blueprint, you must build in regular points for evaluation. Ask yourself, is this method still moving me toward my goal? Are there faster, cheaper, or more effective ways to achieve the same result? Has anything in my environment changed that requires me to adjust my plan? Here is a principle worth remembering. Loyalty belongs to the dream, not to the plan. The plan is the servant, the dream is the master. When the servant no longer serves, you replace it without hesitation. This is where the mastermind alliance, which I spoke of earlier, becomes invaluable. An outside perspective can reveal when you are clinging to a failing method out of pride or habit. Often, we become so attached to our own ideas that we cannot see their flaws until someone we trust points them out. Adaptability also means being open to opportunities you did not anticipate. Some of the greatest successes in history came from plans that evolved when a better path appeared. But you will only recognize such opportunities if you keep your mind flexible and your eyes open. Remember, a dream without a plan is only a wish, but a plan without adaptability can become a trap. The true art lies in holding your goal firmly while holding your methods lightly. A blueprint is useless unless it is backed by action, sustained, deliberate, daily action. This is where many men falter. They dream vividly, plan carefully, even adjust intelligently, yet hesitate when it comes time to execute. But the truth is, no dream moves forward without movement from its maker. Execution begins with a decision, an unshakable commitment to start now. Not when conditions are perfect, not when the fear subsides, but today, with what you have and where you are. Every step you take brings your plan into the realm of reality, while every delay leaves it stranded in the world of imagination. To make progress inevitable, build a daily ritual of achievement. Set aside time each morning to review your written goal, your plan, and the specific actions you will take that day. This keeps your mind oriented toward the future you have chosen rather than the distractions the day will present. Then, at day's end, evaluate: did I act on my plan today? What did I learn that can improve tomorrow's actions? Where did I let excuses replace execution? The self-audit takes only minutes, but it reinforces the habit of forward motion and prevents days of inaction from turning into weeks. You must also learn to act in the face of uncertainty. No plan will ever be free from risk, and no man ever achieved greatness by waiting for absolute certainty. Action clarifies what thought alone cannot. When you move, you learn. When you hesitate, you only imagine. Another essential element is faith in your own ability to carry the plan to completion. You will encounter resistance, perhaps from others, perhaps from circumstances, often from your own doubts. Faith acts as the inner engine that pushes you forward when logic tells you to stop. It is the quiet conviction that your dream is possible and your plan is sound, even if you have not yet seen the proof. Finally, understand this. The blueprint you follow will not only change your circumstances, it will change you. Each obstacle you overcome will make you stronger. Each discipline you master will sharpen your character. And by the time your dream is fully realized, you will have become the kind of person capable of sustaining and expanding it. That is the ultimate purpose of turning dreams into definite plans, not merely to reach the destination, but to grow into the leader, thinker, and doer you were meant to be. So take up your pen, write your dream, shape it into a plan, and set your hands to the work. Do not put it off. Do not wait for perfect timing. Your blueprint is ready now. Build.